I'm just about to reveal how anyone can start making money with virtual land inside the Sandbox Metaverse, so let's get started. First and foremost, I want to take a look at their token, which is called Sand, and you can find it on any cryptocurrency exchange. Now, if you take a look at the max chart here, the all-time chart, or even the 1-year chart, things are not going to look too optimistic, and that is for a good reason. You see, the Sandbox token is currently rated at about $1.11, and that is a significant drop from its all-time high, which was way above $8 back in January. And so, does that mean that the Sandbox project is all over? It is done and dusted? Well, I wouldn't say so. That just goes to show that the whole crypto market is going through a very rough period. And that is true for most other assets that you can trade on the stock market. We are just going through uncertain times economically, and that reflects in the prices of all of these different metaverse tokens as well, because they are not completely isolated from the economy. And in order to get a more clear idea of what's actually happening here, what we can do is perform a quick search for the term NFT on Google Trends, and that's going to display the popularity of this keyword over time. As you can spot, it is definitely not as popular as it used to be back in January 2022. And according to Google Trends, that particular trend is going to keep going for a while. They're actually predicting that the popularity of NFTs is soon going to hit zero. Now, I'm not sure whether or not that is actually ever going to happen, because there is still going to be some interest in NFTs, but that just goes to show that people are not as interested anymore. But we shouldn't necessarily let that discourage us. The fact that we can grab all of these different assets for a discount, a major one, might actually be an advantage. Now, I'm not saying that you should go ahead and invest money randomly into cryptocurrency projects just because they are cheap. I'm not saying that, and you should not do it. And instead, what we're going to do is a little bit of research, and we're going to try to understand what kind of opportunities the Sandbox project provides, and whether or not they have a place in the future of the metaverse. We're gonna determine that as well. And so, if you head over to OpenSea and you search for the Sandbox, this description right here is going to be a pretty good indicator. According to the project, this is a community-driven platform where creators can monetize voxel assets and gaming experiences on the blockchain. And at the first glance, that sounds just like a bunch of words. That may not mean a lot to you, but let me break it down. And so this project is oriented towards creators, and that is a great thing actually. And apart from that, you can monetize voxel assets. What are these? Well, basically everything ranging from wearables that you can use inside the game to plots of land, which are tokenized. These are all non-fungible tokens, and they're tokenized on the blockchain, right? And apart from these assets, you can also build gaming experiences, which is something quite unique that the Sandbox project has brought. Here's how it works in a nutshell. Now guys, if you take a look at the items listed on OpenSea, you're gonna notice that most of them are plots of land. There is actually a real map of that we can check out by heading over to sandbox.game. And this just helps us put things into perspective. Basically, each and every single one of these squares that you can see right here has an actual place inside the metaverse. You can actually check its location, and it's got two different coordinates here that will guide you. But when it comes to the floor price of these tokens, that is going to be about 2.15 Ethereum. And now guys, even though Ethereum's price is a little bit lower than it used to be, quite significantly so, only $1,100 right now, 2.15 Ethereum is still a considerable amount. This is basically the minimum amount of money that you have to spend in order to get your hands on one of these plots of land. Again, that is quite considerable. Spending $2,000 on a random plot of land may not be worth it unless you have a clear picture in your head, a clear plan in your mind. And I'm gonna help you with that. We're gonna take a look at a use cases of these plots of land. How can we actually monetize them? How can we at least recover our investment? There are a bunch of ways you can do that actually. And as you can see, major brands are actually buying plots of land as we speak. We're talking about Ubisoft, Wattpad, and the list goes on and on. As I'm pretty sure you know, even Snoop Dogg has bought a plot of land inside the Sandbox metaverse. And that was for a few $100,000 actually. But what is it so special about these plots of land? How can you actually use them? Is it just for advertising purposes? Is it just a way for people to boast about their finances? Well, I do not think so. I think there is more to it than that. As you can see by reading through this brief description that is displayed on OpenSea, the Sandbox allows people to create gaming experiences on the blockchain, and that is one of the major features. Once you own such a piece of land, what you can do is build actual experiences for other people. You can literally build your own world, your own digital universe inside this metaverse. You can build a video game, a VR game that people can experience or something entirely different. You can allow people to visit physical locations digitally. There are so many different use cases for that. If you are actually going to purchase one of these plots of land, let's say that you have a clear picture in mind, you're looking to launch one of these experiences and let other people take advantage of that and pay you in return, well, how can you determine whether or not a plot of land is actually worth the investment? What are the factors that will determine its value? And there are quite a few of those. First and foremost, we're talking about the location. As you can spot, there are some major brands here, just as I mentioned before. And chances are, all of these major brands will build some unique experiences over time. I'm pretty sure that Binance is going to build something. Snoop Dogg is also going to hold events every once in a while. And so the thing is that wherever there is a lot of traffic, wherever there are a lot of eyeballs, the prices of those plots of land will also grow. Just think about it for a second. Let's just say that Snoop Dogg has just launched an event and people can attend it. Hundreds or thousands upon thousands of different users will head over to this plot of land inside the metaverse to attend the event. And so, if you're lucky enough to have a plot of land nearby, you might be able to make some money as well because there is a lot of traffic. And as you know, wherever there is traffic, there is money on the table. And for that reason, typically speaking, plots of land that are around major brands will be a little bit more pricey. And then, apart from the location, another important feature is going to be the dimension of that plot of land, as you might expect. But now guys, let's actually explore this feature that says create, because this is where the magic happens. There would be basically no utility for those plots of land unless you can actually build something on them. And here's a great idea. If you head over to their game maker, you can literally craft your own game, but the crazy part is you do not need to be an experienced software engineer in order to make that happen. They have put together an entire toolbox that is really user-friendly, which will allow you to bring your imagination to life. You get to create 3D models and 3D games for absolutely free, using thousands of pre-done voxel models, which are NFTs, made by the community with Vox Edit. Now, that is actually awesome. Not only can you build your own game, but you can make use of other people's work for absolutely free. It's just as fun to build your game as it is to play, because then you can share your creations in the gallery with your friends and make something they will remember forever. And when you add to that the fact that no code is required whatsoever, this actually sounds great. And by the way, free-to-play is quite an outdated business model. With the sandbox, you will also be able to monetize the games you create, not only the ones you play. And there are multiple different ways of earning inside this metaverse. First and foremost, you can play games, and that doesn't require you to have any plots of land, so that is more beginner-friendly. Then you can build games and monetize them and have other people pay you, and ultimately you can create assets and market them, and that is another great one. Here's the thing, if you want to create assets inside this digital world, what you gotta do is install the Vox editor on your device. This is the so-called NFT creator that the sandbox actually provides, and it's a three-step process. First off, you need to become an artist through their creator fund, and so not everybody can start creating these models, or anybody can create them, but not anybody can sell them on the marketplace. So you will be able to design your own NFTs, your own 3D models, but you will not be able to make some profits off of them unless you're a creator. But if your application gets accepted, you will be able to start designing those 3D models without any coding skills needed. They even provide you with an animator that helps you bring your designs to life, and an NFT maker as well. And by the way, 95% of all transactions go to you, the creator. And we're not talking about outrageous designs here. These are some very simple, very basic items, such as one of these frames or the snowboard. But again, in order to actually create these items and sell them on the marketplace, you need to apply for the creator fund. And it gets even better than that. Now, let's say that you do have the money to purchase one of these plots of land, but you do not have the time and the expertise or the creativity levels to build your own experience inside the metaverse, to build your own game perhaps. Well guys, what you can do is actually allow other people to do the work, and you still get to keep a percentage of the profits. That is done by lending out your land. Instead of having to build these experiences yourself on your piece of land, you can simply lend it out to other people, let them build the game, build the experience, and they are gonna pay interest on it. That is pretty much how you can earn passive income off of your assets. And this actually resembles actual real estate. Instead of you having to build experiences there, build a business there, you're just going to rent your space out to somebody else who wants to build their business there. Does that make sense? And here's a common misconception that a lot of people have. Most people seem to think that when it comes to NFTs, if you want to be successful and make some profits, you need to be some crypto geek. some nerd that really knows a lot about the blockchain and cryptocurrencies and how everything works. But that is not true. You can actually implement the business models that work in the real world inside the metaverse. But now guys, I get it. Let's just say that not all of you watching this video have $2,000 to invest in a plot of land that you don't even know whether or not it's going to be profitable. Well, if that is the case, but you still want to make money with the Sandbox project, you still want to get involved and you think it is a really promising one, there is another way to go about it. What I would do is I would focus on becoming an artist through the Creator Fund. But in order to do that, you will have to submit a portfolio of your previous work. And so there is going to be a learning process involved here. It is not just going to happen overnight. But if you're lucky enough to get accepted, the crazy news, the great news is that the Creator Fund basically consists of over $2 million. They are literally willing to pay $2 million to their content creators. First and foremost, you get to sign up so they can evaluate your work, as they want to encourage the best voxel assets. So you really need to have a solid skill here. Moving on, you will get paid for each asset you make and get 100% of profits from each of your sales. And in addition to the grant, you will be able to sell your creations to players when the Sandbox launches. That has already happened, so you can start selling them. But again, that is only if you're accepted. And so guys, go over there, learn more about it. There is a lot of information to be learned and there is money on the table. But you gotta find creative ways to go and grab your piece of the pie. That's it for now, and thanks for watching.